Most WA drama begins with petty arguments, trash cans left out too long, lawn height, maybe a mailbox color violation. But not in Cedar Ridge Estates. Here, the drama arrived in the form of one woman, Linda Harrow, our WA president, better known as Karen of the Lakeside. I lived on the one natural lake in the community, Haven Lake, a clean freshwater spring that had existed long before the WA, long before any development, and long before Linda ever decided that she owned anything here. I fished the lake almost every evening after work. It was therapy, me, the water, and the quiet hum of crickets. Until Linda decided my fishing pole was personally attacking her authority. This is the story of how she tried to poison the lake to stop me. And ended up poisoning her entire neighborhood instead. Chapter 1. The First Strike. The first warning came as a piece of paper taped to my door. Greater than notice of WA violation. Fishing from private lots is prohibited unless using WA-approved equipment. That was new. Nobody had ever mentioned such a rule before because it didn't exist. I marched to the WA office the next morning. Where did this rule come from? I asked, holding the notice up. Linda sat behind her mahogany desk with the posture of a queen on a throne. It was added yesterday, she said. Section 14C. Fishing requires WA supervision. Your rods aren't approved. It's a lake, I said. A natural lake, and the deed explicitly says I have usage rights. That deed is outdated, she said smugly. Besides, your fishing disturbs the wildlife. It disturbed her. Her daily power walking route went behind my backyard, and she hated seeing me relax while she patrolled like a mall cop. I left without signing anything. If there was one thing I knew about bullies like her, if you give them an inch, they take the entire lake. Chapter 2. Escalation. The next week, I found a brand new sign staked into my yard. Greater than no fishing. WA property. Trespassers will be reported. The thing was drilled into the ground like she expected me to pull it out with my bare hands. I didn't. I unbolted it with a wrench and placed it on her doorstep. 2 days later, she started patrolling the shore with a camera like some wildlife officer. You're documented, she sneered while recording me cast my line. This will be evidence. For what? Enjoying my property. You're violating the Environmental Harmony Code, she snapped. That wasn't a thing either. But the real turning point came when I outsmarted her. Chapter 3. My little revenge. If she could invent rules, so could I, except mine were legal. I printed the actual environmental guidelines from the county, laminated them, and posted them exactly where her sign used to be. A bold arrow pointed to a line that read, "Greater than private shoreline usage is at the discretion of the property owner." And on the bottom of the sign I added, "Greater than, per County Environmental Code 72E. Report false WA claims to the county hotline." Neighbors loved it. Linda did not. She stormed into my yard screaming that I was undermining her authority. "You're making a mockery of this community," she yelled. "No," I said. "You just don't like it when people know the law." She left with a face red enough to power a small generator. Looking back, I should have known she'd try something extreme. But I never expected poison. Chapter 4. The Night of the Barrels. At 2:14 a.m., my security camera sent an alert. I checked my phone. There she was, Linda, pulling 2 large blue barrels behind her golf cart. She parked at the shoreline, looked around, and started dumping something into the lake. At first, I thought it was fertilizer, still illegal, but not deadly. Then I saw the label on the side of the barrel, "Greater than industrial algicide, not for potable water." My heart dropped. This lake wasn't just for aesthetics. It fed the HOA's entire drinking water system. If she dumped that stuff in, the community water supply was finished. I called 911 immediately. "Ma'am," the dispatcher said, "is someone actively contaminating a water source?" Yes. Police arrived in minutes. But Linda was already gone. Just 2 empty barrels rolling on the shore. The next morning, officers knocked on her door. She claimed they were pond treatments approved by the WA. She was trying to prevent the lake from getting overgrown. I was harassing her with fake accusations. But the cops took samples anyway. 3 days later, the results came in. And that's when everything exploded. Chapter 5. The Water Crisis. The toxic chemical she dumped was banned from drinking water lakes because it released harmful byproducts when mixed with chlorine. The HOA water supply tanks were already showing contamination. Within hours, the county declared, "Greater than boil water notice, effective immediately. Do not drink tap water. Severe gastrointestinal irritation may occur." Neighbors panicked. People lined the streets holding bottles of brownish water. Moms yelled at HOA board members. Kids held their stomachs complaining of nausea. Guess who they blamed? Linda. Even her closest HOA allies refused to defend her. She tried to hold an emergency community meeting to calm people down, but the crowd shouted her off the stage. "This is your fault. You poisoned the water. You tried to attack one guy and hit the whole community." Her reign was collapsing in real time. Chapter 6. The Investigation. County environmental officers came to inspect my property, the lake, and the barrels. It didn't take them long. The camera footage was clear. The labels were intact. Her fingerprints were everywhere. I still remember the officers talking among themselves. Greater than, why the hell would someone dump this into a water supply? She thought it was just a private pond. That's no excuse. This is a federal violation. Federal, as in EPA, Clean Water Act, criminal charges. When officers approached her with a warrant, she tried to claim I had faked the video. But they already obtained her HOA emails. In one of them, she wrote, "Greater than, if I ruin the lake for a few weeks, he'll stop fishing. He'll have to." She thought the lake was connected only to me. She had no idea the entire water system flowed from Haven Lake's underground spring. Her ignorance was everyone's nightmare. Chapter 7. The HOA Implosion. Within 24 hours, she was removed as HOA president. The board dissolved temporarily under county supervision. Neighbors launched a civil lawsuit. The water treatment company billed the HOA $186,000. And the EPA started a criminal investigation. But here's the twist. The HOA needed someone to oversee repairs and legally negotiate with the county. Every homeowner was asked to vote for a temporary trustee. Guess who they chose? Me. By a landslide. I didn't even campaign. People just remembered I was the guy fishing harmlessly while Linda was secretly dumping toxins. I accepted, not out of spite, but because I wanted the lake restored. Chapter 8. The Restoration. It took 2 months to clean. Thousands of gallons of contaminated water pumped out. Fresh water flushed in. Specialized treatments added. Wildlife rescued. Soil tested and replaced. Every day, neighbors came to help. Kids pulled weeds. Teens carried equipment. Retired vets volunteered their muscle. Haven Lake slowly returned to life. Birds came back. Fish surfaced again. The water regained its clarity. And Linda, she was nowhere to be seen. Until the day she finally faced the consequences. Chapter 9. The Hearing. Everyone showed up. The courtroom buzzed like a hive. I sat in the front row, mostly because I was required as the primary witness. When Linda walked in, she looked nothing like her former self. No power walk tracksuit, no clipboard, just a shaking, pale woman clutching a purse like a lifeline. The judge didn't hold back. "Ms. Harrow, your reckless action contaminated a public drinking water source, endangered your neighbors, and caused nearly $200,000 in damages." Her lawyer argued she was misinformed, frustrated, and lacking environmental knowledge. The judge cut him off. "Being ignorant isn't an excuse. You knowingly dumped a banned chemical into a lake, not because you were trying to help the community, but because you didn't like someone fishing." The room murmured. She was sentenced to 18 months probation, $120,000 restitution, 200 hours of community service, specifically assigned to water cleanups, and banned from holding any HOA position ever again. Her career as Cedar Ridge's tyrant was officially over. Chapter 10. The Aftermath. Life returned to normal. Actually, better than normal. Under new leadership, we rewrote the HOA charter. No unilateral rule changes. Mandatory community votes. Transparent finances. Strict environmental policies. Term limits for leaders. And an official ban on chemical use without county approval. Neighbors fish at the lake now. Kids swim. Birds nest. The water sparkles again. As for me, I still cast my fishing line every evening. But now, instead of side eyes and threats from a petty president, neighbors wave as they pass by. Sometimes someone joins me at the shore, and we watch the sunset ripple across the lake. Every time I reel in a fish, I can't help but smile. All this chaos, just because one Karen couldn't mind her own business. Epilogue. The final encounter. About 6 months later, I ran into Linda at the grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, deflated. She avoided my eyes, but I walked up anyway. "You know," I said gently, "you could have just talked to me." She swallowed hard. I didn't think it mattered." "It mattered," I said. "But not the way you thought." She nodded once, holding back tears. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry." It wasn't enough to erase what she did, but it was enough to let me walk away with peace. Because at the end of the day, water cleanses everything, even bitterness. And Haven Lake was shining again.